So every violent crime that involves blood in any form, you can find liquid blood at the crime scene, or you can find blood stains, dried blood stains at the crime scene, and stain pattern analysis. If you talk about the blood stain pattern analysis, uh, it it comprises of the examination of the shape, location, distribution, and pattern of the blood stains which are found at the crime scene. Uh, to interpret the physical event or to reconstruct the events which had happened there at the crime scene, and it gives you a clear indication about a blood droplet that okay, from which place in this room or in this house this blood was originated. It also gives you idea about that what was the angle at which this droplet strike the surface. It gives us so much in detail, information in detail, that crime scene investigation, uh, if you say, where we have blood as evidence, cannot be completed without doing this blood stain pattern analysis. Because to recreate the scene, to reconstruct the scene, we need to understand a basic concept about or regarding the blood stain patterns, how they are. This picture, if it is self-explanatory that a person has already committed a crime. After committing the crime, the person can leave the crime scene. But a crime scene investigator, once he comes to the crime scene, he can reconstruct all the events one by one. That what was the location or the position of the victim, where the assailant was standing, how many blows he struck, and more possibly, if you talk about what was the nature of the weapon by which this crime was committed. Okay. If you talk about the history of blood spattering analysis, to be in this field or to publish something in this field was Dr. Edward Petrovsky. He was assistant at the Institute of Forensic Medicine at Poland. He published his first paper on blood spattering in 1895. So you can see how long the studies have been carried out, and still now there are like every now and then you see there are advancements in this field. If you talk about crime scene investigation, crime scene reconstruction, every now and then you have few new techniques being added to the field to help the investigators. The second person to work in this field was French scientist Dr. Victor Balthazar. He also worked in this field in Bloodstain spatter analysis. But most profound work, the most promising work, was done by Professor Herbert Leon MacDonald. If you open Google and type research papers by Professor Herbert Leon MacDonald, you can see around say for 8, 10, 12 research papers, and they're really good research papers which have been published by Professor MacDonald. And he has been working in this field, and all the papers, if you see, they are published from 1971 to 1982. That is around 11 years of very true research. Now that we'll talk about the information which we can gather, like once we study a crime scene for blood spattering, what all we can get to know from blood spatters present on a crime scene. The first is the direction of a given droplet, a blood droplet. What was when it struck the surface? What was the direction of its travel? What was it traveling from left to right or right to left? Which so it will show you that where was the victim standing or sitting or lying. Position of victim, it will show. By direction, we will talk about it in next slides. The angle of impact. Once you see a blood droplet on a surface, by looking at the blood droplet, or the pattern, you can say at what probable angle this has strike the surface. Third is the probable distance from the target from which the droplet has originated. We also call it as area of convergence. Like if there are five or six droplets in one room, you can correlate all those droplets to a single source, which is called as area of convergence. That all these five six droplets have been originated from this place. And next is the nature of forced fall. Looking at the spatter pattern, we can say that whether it was a very slow, moderate, or high velocity force which was imparted to create these blood droplets.